welcome back to another episode of Writing Wednesdays. So here we have a new question. Let's have a look and figure out what we need to do. The only way to improve safety on our roads is to give much stricter punishments for driving offenses. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So that's very standard, typical. By now you're probably tired of looking at this question type, as I am. This is, I mean, it's a good thing because these are very easy to spot. This is, of course, an opinion essay. And what do you need to do? Well, first of all, we're going to figure out what our point of view is. You can either agree or disagree. Don't try and find some kind of middle ground. Okay, just pick a side. That's the easiest thing to do, and that's exactly what they want from you. So I think this is a good idea. I agree. So first I'm gonna have my main ideas, main idea 1, main idea 2, and then my supporting ideas. That's what I always do. You can do it differently. Remember, this is just what works for me. So I think it's a good idea because punishments can be a strong deterrent and reduce accidents. Punishments can be a strong deterrent. It can prevent people, like when you know that, okay, this is the punishment for driving over the speed limit, for example, then okay, well, you're going to be more careful. And then there's people who do break the law and they get punished. They experience that. That makes it kind of sets an example for everyone, right? So stronger punitive measures set an example for the rest of society. Right? When you read in the news, oh, this person, lost their license for 5 years or whatever, everybody is, a little bit, ooh, we have to be careful, right? So it really sends a message, set an example or send a message to the rest of society. Deterrent is to prevent, something from happening. So, for example, it increases awareness in general, more awareness. And then when people are punished, they, let me see, I guess this is kind of similar in a way. The rest of society, drivers will be more careful. I guess I can blend these together, actually. It's too similar to be different, so let me just put both of the main ideas right here. Strong or stronger. Now, how am I going to show that it really does increase safety? More awareness. Fear. Of course, fear is important. I think a lot of people don't take road safety very seriously. So, especially for first timers, right? New drivers or young drivers. Yeah, this would really kind of help them. Now I need to think of a main idea. Maybe instead of writing all this stuff, I should just figure out my main ideas. Much stricter punishments. Once punished, person is less likely. Yes. Strong punishments. Strong. I'm going to use punitive measures and then I'm going to move punishment from here. Okay, so strong punitive measures. What was I saying? Reduced, ensure, can avoid, Recidivism is when a criminal commits the same crime or, goes on to commit more crime. Once punished, you are less likely to do the thing that you were punished for, especially if it's a strong punishment. If it's just a small fine, like, oh, pay $50, it's not a big deal. But if you suspend their license for 2 years, that's very, very strong, right? So that's, people are going to think twice before ever, right? Most punishments, too weak, ineffective. But a harsh punishment can lead to immediate change in behavior, and ultimately safer for other drivers and even pedestrians, of course. Oops. Okay, punishment can be a strong deterrent. Deterrent is like preventing people from doing something wrong in the first place. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep I've already used strong. Okay, let's see. Harsh punitive measures. There we go. More awareness was fear in the general public that, okay, if you like if you hit someone, you get this many years in jail. Or if you drive over the speed limit, it's not just like, oh, here's a small fine, that it's a lot harsher. Maybe it's a percentage of your monthly income or something like that. I know they have a system like that in Finland or somewhere. Okay, to improve safety is to give much stricter punishments. New drivers and young drivers often are not very serious, so that also teaches them. It prevents them. They'll be more careful, especially when they know. And what else? I need one more reason. I think here I kind of have, one thing leads to the next thing. So this is cause and effect. Here I have more of a list, which is fine, of course. You can have different methods. To what extent do you agree or disagree? I agree. Punishments can be a strong deterrent. So deterring is to prevent people from doing something wrong in the first place. Ultimately that produces accidents. And then increased safety. Because first, you prevent people from even doing that thing. But when people do commit a crime, well, an infraction, then the punishment that they receive really scares them into never repeating that again. Okay, there we go. I think that's good enough. So we're gonna now write our introduction. And what's the topic? The topic here is driving offenses or road safety. So you write a sentence about that. You could write something like, maybe, for example, I would probably say that despite, public education or awareness about the dangers of driving, let's say motor accidents, or despite public awareness, despite increasing public awareness and education and awareness about the dangers of reckless driving, road accidents continue to plague society, continue to plague society, let's say, at an alarming rate. There we go. And then the most effective solution here would be this makes it necessary for to be punished far more severely than they currently are, than what the current laws provide for. There we go. So despite increasing public education and awareness about the dangers, everybody knows, yeah, you shouldn't drive drunk and you shouldn't drive when you're tired and there's a speed limit, blah, blah, blah. But are people being careful? Not really. So road accidents continue to plague society at an alarming rate. This makes it necessary for such crimes to be punished far more severely than what the current laws provide for, which is just another way of saying that we need to increase the severity of punishments that we apply. Harsh punishments or strong punishments. Stronger punishments can be a good deterrent. This is because the knowledge that let's say that incorrect or improper driving or an infraction, like when you apply for your driving license, of course, you need to learn about, the laws and stuff and what the punishments are and all of that. So when you know the knowledge that any infraction would be punished not just appropriately, but with this force, right? I don't know how quite to say. Wait a second. Okay, let me read the sentence. This is because the mere knowledge, just knowing that this is the punishment is going to, strike fear into people's hearts. This is because the mere knowledge that any infraction would be punished severely. I've already said severely, okay. Stringently, without any, laxity, without, any, just because you're first time offender, we're going to let you go off. No. So without any laxity or leniency, the mere knowledge that any infraction would be punished stringently without any leniency would cause a healthy amount, would cause the general public to, have a healthy amount of fear of breaking the law, preventing them from, committing that crime in the first place, preventing them from breaking the law. I've already said breaking the law. Okay. Okay, I think I'll just stick with. Already said this from committing a crime in the first place, right? Because they know that, okay, I'm not going to be forgiven just because it's my first time, from preventing them from coming from space. This would work. Wait a second. This is because the mere knowledge that the infraction would cause the general public. Whoops, I'm missing a word there. That's why you have to read your sentences. Okay, this would, I've already used this, so I don't want to start with this again. I don't know why. It's not wrong. I don't like the feeling. So, preventing them from committing a crime in the first place. So it deters them, it prevents them, it stops them. This applies. What else? I have to use this. Maybe I can change this. Yeah, maybe, you know what? I'll just use most importantly, because that's much nicer. Yep, the mere knowledge. This would apply. This would in particular this would prevent I've already written prevent. Okay, this would deter. This would bar, this would prevent. I've already used prevent. Okay, I'm not going to use that. It's not that you can't, it's just that I don't want to, because see, my job here is to be a good example, right? So this would guide, young drivers, young and new drivers, onto the right path. And make it clear that their, age, or let's say their age, or let's say level of ability, driving ability, or experience, right? Age or experience, or lack thereof. So, in particular, this would guide young and new drivers onto the right path and make it clear that their age or experience, or lack thereof, will not, shield them from the consequences of a, bad decision or rash driving. There we go. So it's not that, often it's the case that if it's your first time committing an offense, you get a lighter sentence, which of course would still be the case even if you, made the punishments harsher. Let's say you break the, what's that speed limit? Okay, instead of maybe a $50 fine, now you have to pay maybe $500. But then the other, higher level punishment would be even higher, right? So that would really strike fear into their hearts that, okay, just because, I'm young, or just because it's my first time, doesn't mean that I'm going to get away with it easily, because this is serious. You could kill someone. Ultimately, this would lead to, to roads being far safer, with reduced accidents. With reduced accidents, creating, well, this would lead to work, creating a safer atmosphere for everyone in society. Okay, let me just check the word count. Look at the first one. This is 42. Great. This is 97. And then, of course, I need my final sentence. If, let's say, you don't really call them criminals because, I mean, depending on the crime, of course, if you kill someone with your car, that is a crime. You are a criminal. But here, people who break the law, you might say, offenders or potential culprits. So, if offenders were, let's say if offenders had to face harsher laws, I think I've already used the word harsh, never mind. Yeah, more stringent. They would, well, they're not really offenders. No, that's wrong. Actually, though, this is a nice sentence. I'm not going to delete that. I'm just going to paste it over here because the second paragraph is about offenders. So if, everyone was aware of how stringent the law, how much more stringent the laws have been made. If everyone was made aware of how much more stringent the laws have been made, it would help curb driving offenses. Easily, quickly, if you want to add a word like that, that's fine. So that's how many words? 118. Perfect. Then I have the next sentence, harsh punitive measures. Over here, harsh punitive measures can also avoid and reduce. Avoid is completely avoid, but of course not everyone. It just doesn't work like that. There are some people who, even if you punish them, they maybe just have that bent of mind where they, commit the crime again. So it will avoid in many cases and reduce and, definitely heavily reduce. Harsh punitive measures can also avoid and reduce recidivism. And then we have harsh, this is because most existing punishments are too weak and ineffective, which is why people just don't really care. They're not afraid, which is why are too weak. They don't really work as a punishment. They kind of just work as a fee. There's this saying that if the punishment for something is a fine, then that's just, a fee to do that thing, right? Because somebody who can afford the fine, they don't care, right? So yeah, most existing punishments are too weak and ineffective, which is why such laws are often, broken with absolutely no regard. Especially when when it comes to fines, especially when it comes to monetary punishment, which well, we can say they have no bite, but that's a bit casual. Let's avoid that. This is because most existing punishments are too weak and ineffective, which is why such laws are often broken with no regard, especially when it comes to monetary punishments, which practically only serve as a fee required to break a certain law, such as a speed limit. Some people just consider that, oh, I just pay this much and I get out of trouble. They don't care, especially if they're wealthy. Such as, running over a speed limit. Okay, and then what else? What else? Such as exceeding the speed limit. To make that more clear. Okay, and then the next one, harsh punishment would cause, on the other hand, yep, however, if harsher punishments were to be introduced, they would almost certainly cause a near immediate change in behavior, as people would quickly learn that they cannot evade the law with a small fine, or sometime with a suspended license or a few points. Quickly learn that they cannot evade the law with a small license, and would instead be made to face debilitating. I only use the word punishment. Maybe I want to use something else. Let me just think. Punitive measures, but I have used punitive measures. Maybe I can say, for example, stronger sentences, possibly. Could be something like that, or possibly penalty. Well, a penalty is just a fine. In fact, over here, I was talking about how penalties, which only serve, well, a penalty doesn't always have to be a fine. It can also just be, like I said, just docking a few points from your license. Wouldn't say made to face debilitating, as I was saying, not really debilitating. I don't know, that's maybe too strong a word. Let me think. Serious, I have used serious repercussions. Yeah. And then the last idea, increase safety. If such measures were, let's say, put into practice, it would lead to increased safety, not just for other drivers, but also for pedestrians. There we go. So that's our second paragraph. That's 130, a little bit bigger. I think it looks almost the same, so that's fine. And then we write our conclusion. In conclusion, it is evident that, and here I have my point of view. I'll just restate my point of view. It's evident that existing, let's say punishments aren't effective and need to be replaced with stronger measures. If society, keeps continuing to let stronger measures, because these can not just prevent, let's say, prevent people from breaking the law, but also ensure that criminals do not repeat their mistakes. If society keeps continuing to let people get away scot-free, because if society keeps letting people, I don't think you need this, keeps letting people, criminals, get away, bad drivers get away scot-free, it could cause a lack of trust in the legal system and the civil process or the legal system and the justice system, actually. There we go. So that's our conclusion. And there is the whole thing on this page from start to finish. In fact, let me also get the question. Let's have a look at this. In total is 350. Wow, that's exactly 350 words. Okay, so there we go. And you can pause the screen and, read the whole thing carefully, take your time. So that was fun. And how much time did that take us? About 25 minutes exactly. So if I can do it in 25, you can definitely do it in 35 minutes for sure. I mean, my goal here is just to show you that it's really not difficult to come up with ideas and come up with a decent essay that covers everything that they expect from you. Essay writing does not have to be difficult at all. And of course, if you need more help, you can always contact me. My number is somewhere over there in case you can't find it. Let me just put it down in maybe the description or something. You can always find contact info there. We offer courses as well, so please feel free to reach out. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.